Hey, what's going on, guys? Faith here, and welcome back to the channel. And today I'm here to bring you guys my WPF Season 12 Speed Draft Analysis. And this is my draft analysis for WPF, and I'm in Speed, which is the second to bottom div. So I'd really like to promote out of this division, just for my pride, really more than anything. But anyways, like the video if you like it, and subscribe for more. Subscribe for sure, because I would really appreciate it if you guys did that for me. Anyways, yeah. Oh, one more thing. All the videos should be in 720p now. They should be in 720p now, because that's actually really embarrassing. I didn't realize I was recording at such a low resolution. But anyways, you guys can see the monster that is on your screen. That is indeed correct. We have a Kyurem-Black as our first mon of the day here. And yeah, Kyurem's broken. As you guys may know, this is Kyurem-Black with no speed boosting though. So Kyurem-Black has no access to Dragon Dance in this league. But honestly, in my opinion, that is not a huge deal. So to give you some context about WPF, because compared to my league, especially if you're like new to SDL and just started watching my videos, compared to SDL, this has a lot of unbans, and it just has a lot of, or just has a very different tier list compared to ours. The tier list goes all the way up to 25 points, which is just very different from most of the rest of the draft community in general. Like right now, all I can think of is the GBA and WPF that have done this. So they're very much doing their own thing, I guess, or trying something new out here at the end of the generation, which is a good time to try stuff out. And then they have quite a few unbans, like especially with complex unbans as well, like Cinderace with no U-turn, like Libero Cinderace with no U-turn, Naga Nadell, I think no nasty plot, stuff like that. So yeah, Kyurem-Black is the mon that I pick up first. And like I said, I think that even though I don't have access to any speed boosting, it's not going to be a huge deal. Mostly because of this one right here. You guys may see what I have highlighted there. The 170, yes. The 170 attack is the huge reason why I drafted this mon. So I picked 4, but I just really want to try it out. There are definitely probably better mons, like Dragapult and Urshifu. We're definitely still around. But yeah, this mon just is a mon I really wanted to try out. It got access to a few new things this generation, but the main one is right here, Icicle Spear, which, coming off of its 170 base attack, you know, it's fucking legendary stats. Even 2 hits is going to do a shit ton of damage. So KB, I think, is going to be one of the best breakers in the format, one of the best breakers allowed, honestly. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with picking up that one. Then additionally, obviously, it can still do everything else that it did previously, outside of the like free shock or whatever, the Z move. But you know, like it really still can do a ton of stuff, right? So really not too worried about it. Like it has Earth Power and stuff like that. It still has a base 120 special attack, and then it just has really good coverage, really strong from both sides, and then great, or not like great, but you know, it's really not bad defensively either. So I think it's a pretty good pickup. And to move on to our next one, as it came all the way back to me, and whatever pick I was in the second round, you know, I picked 4, so that would have been pick 12, I believe. 14, 15. Pick 13 in round 2. So next up, I picked up Clefable, and Clefable is a very good Pokemon. You guys may know of Clefable. Stats, little mediocre, I'm not gonna lie, but probably the best utility mon in the game. It can do so much. Obviously, Stealth Rock is huge. You're gonna run Stopwell a lot. Gets knockoff, gets T-Wave. Obviously, gets toxic as well. Aromatherapy is huge as well. And then additionally, you have like Calm Mind, stuff that you can do. You have tons of stuff. It's the best utility mon in the game. You have Wish Pass, you can do the Wish teleport stuff that it was doing uh, before Crown Tundra, or not before Crown Tundra, I guess before Isle of Armor actually, is when it was really doing that. So yeah, you can do that stuff. It just has a really wide move pool. You guys know what Clef does probably at this point if you're into competitive Pokemon, but it's also just a really good wall sometimes. Like, its stats look on paper a little mediocre, but you can generally EV it to barely wall or barely take 2 hits from pretty much everything in the game. And then it's a Clef, so it can T-Wave, it can knock, it can do whatever it needs to do back. So yeah, Clef is just one of the best utility mons in the game, so I wanted to pick that up. Next up, I picked up Infernape. So I thought this would pair really well with Kyurem-Black, because Kyurem-Black's dual stab doesn't hit steel types super well, which I mean, like, it still gets earth power, so it's like, it kind of still hits steel types. But Infernape could really take advantage of steel types coming in, especially if I decide to bring like Choice Band Choice Band KB. It can really take advantage on coming in on those, especially with some doubles and stuff like that. So I thought Infernape would pair really well. Additionally, this can really put pressure on water types throughout the game, which will be really awesome, because I can see water types also switching to KB a little bit, just to take the ice moves, stuff like that. Even though, like, if I click the right move, the water types also will not be able to come in. But this is just going to help pressure water types as we go. And then, like I said, really, I think just offensively, it pairs really well with KB. There's not really many mons, or any mons, in the game that are going to be able to wall both KB and Infernape, like, at all, pretty much. So I think this is a really sick pairing, and it also gives me some really awesome speed. And then one of the main reasons Infernape is so awesome is that it has one of the best offensive move pools in the game. Honestly, it just does. And then it also has like Stealth Rock, Taunt, Willow, all that stuff. Even CM Slack Off is like not bad. And some special matchups. So yeah, this is just a really sick mon. And I usually do pretty well when I draft it, so hopefully I can replicate that again. Next up, picked up Skarmory. My two, I wanted a ground immunity for sure, and then I wanted a fairy resist for KB as well. And I just didn't have a fairy resist, and fairy's like really good. So picked up Skarm. Skarm's not like the greatest fairy resist because its WPF is so low, but it does a lot for me. Typing's really good for me, and then obviously I would think like spike stacking with Infernape and KB is going to be crazy. I think it's going to be crazy, especially with KB, if I can really punish Pokemon coming in that if I can really punish Pokemon that are trying to come in, even if they can take the hit, they're going to take maybe 2 layers of spikes or something, right? So that's really hopefully what's going to happen here. Anyways, I don't want to talk about Skarm too much. I think I had a pretty good typing for my squad, all that stuff. Next up, I picked a mon that I think pairs pretty well with Skarm. Obviously, it can take the fire type hits and the electric type hits that it's weak to. So I picked up Swampert, which I now have 4 pretty good Stealth Rockers, which I'm pretty happy about. I won't have to worry about hitting hazards on the team ever. Or at least I shouldn't ever have to worry about that. And then, like I said, I think this pairs really well with Skarmory as well. And Skarm pairs really well with Clef. So I think that this is a really good defensive core. And then obviously Clef is able to Wish Pass to Swampert if I ever deem that necessary in a matchup, because Swampert does not get reliable recovery. Also, Swampert has some other things that it can do offensively that really aren't that horrible, like a bulk upset, stuff like that. It's really not that bad. Offensive Swampert can exist for sure. But yeah, it mostly is going to exist as a rocker and as Spidef Sponge or Fizdef Sponge that can not be passive back, especially with Flip Turn. So yeah, also it being a pivot now is huge with Flip Turn. Really ups the viability of this Pokemon. But yeah, this is mostly a mon I picked up to round out my defensive core for sure. Next up, a controversial pick. Picked up Mega Sceptile. So, like I said, Um, the only like typing that resists my dual stab, or not my dual stab, but resists both ice and fire, which are the main stab moves that I'm going to be clicking with my main 2 offensive breakers, are water types, and Sceptile can really take advantage of that. Also, Sceptile has really great speed, which would have been hard to come by at this point in the draft. And at this point in the draft, most of the good megas were taken. So take that in mind before you criticize this pick, please. Anyways, yeah, so I picked up Mega Sceptile, and like I said, the speed tier is really nice for the team. I didn't really. My fastest mom right now was 108, so I didn't have anything that could revenge the some of the faster stuff in the game comfortably, unless I had scarves. So I think Mega Sep is a pretty cool mon to pick up here, and I had never used it in Gen 8. I don't even know if I've ever used it in Gen 7 draft. So yeah, and then also, I mean, looking at it, I don't think its move pool is like horrible. Like Focus Blast, Leaf Storm, or whatever grass move you want to pick, is like pretty good on its own, right? Like I think that covers pretty much every time in the game. I think, unless I'm missing one, that covers mostly everything. And then also Dragon Pulse on top of that, and then it gets even more full coverage if you go physical, which it has okay stats for. And then Lightning Rod is pretty cool as well, because Swampert, despite it being a ground type, can lose to some of the better grass types in the game because of their grass, or because they get grass coverage. Like I think Coco and Zeraora both get grass on, so like that's part of it as well. So I think Lightning Rod being able to help out Swampert a little bit will be cool. Now, I did mention earlier, yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about with Sceptile. It's controversial, but I think it's cool. Good speed tier. Can be an okay breaker with a high special attack. So, yeah. Anyways, I talked about how Skarmory sort of has lowish spit F, right? And it might not be able to come in on fairy types as often as I would like. So, my next pick should hopefully rectify that with Tentacruel, as it gives me another defense in the fairy types, and like, yeah, obviously another defense with fairy types because I get that poison typing, and it gives me another hazard form of hazard control, because right now all I have is Skarmory with Defog. So adding a Rapid Spinner with Tentacruel is going to be really big for me, I think. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and, I don't know what ability I'm going to run week to week. You might catch me setting up some rain for myself. You know. And then, yeah, whatever. But, yeah, I think this mon's pretty cool. Good speed tier. Gives me another, like, Scarf option with Infernape and this. And then also my next one is a pretty good Scarf option as well. And then it just has some cool stuff. Like, T-Spikes, obviously, is good. Knockoff, good. Haze, good. It just has a good move pool utility-wise. It can do some okay damage as well. So, that is sort of my opinion there. Alright, so next up, we picked up Obstagoon, and like I mentioned, another good Scarfer for the squad, which I thought could be pretty good for me, for sure. With its base 95 speed, it's pretty solid, and then it has some really great breaking power with Guts. Honestly, it has 3 really good abilities that can all be ran, but it's obviously mostly known for its Guts stuff, but yeah, it has 3 really good abilities, so that's really awesome. And then Choice Scarf wise, as Parting Shot, or not even Parting Shot's not Choice Scarf wise, but it has Switcheroo and Trick for Choice Scarf sets, which are going to be really nice for Disruption in general. So yeah, that's sort of my thought process on that. Otherwise, we have a few other things that we can run, but yeah, it's just a really good breaker, and it adds another potential Scarfer to the squad, because Sceptile is like not a mon that can come to every game. So yeah. Last but not least, just kidding. Last but certainly least, we have Greedent. It's not a horrible mon. Like, it has pretty decent stats. If you look right here, like, it has decent bulk with its HP. 95 attack isn't great, but it's not horrible. It's just really slow. and stuff like that. But cheek pouch can give it some okay longevity, you know. So it's just not the worst 1-pointer in the world because at this point I have 1 point left. So yeah, I pick up Breeden as the 1-pointer. But so I only have 9 mons, and like um, that was sort of a product of uh, the format that WPF ran this season, which I actually think I like, even though it hurts. It hurts me, but I like it. I enjoy it. Like KB was 23 points and Clef was 18, and Clef is usually 16 or 17. If KB is allowed, it's like 19 or 20. Like Infernape, I believe, is 17 points, something like that. It's usually like 15 or 14, probably usually 15 actually. So stuff like that. Like a lot of the mons were really boosted up, and so I really dug deep to get some value, which is mostly what I did with the Sceptile pick and the Tentacle pick. Is they were both for 8 points, and like this type of speed tier with the special attack that it has, I think is really, really valuable for 8 points. Even though the opportunity cost is obviously very high, because I don't get to use one of the better Mega Pokemon, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Because I just think I got a really solid squad around it. And like I said, at this point, most of the good Megamons were gone already. And then, yeah, like I said, Tentacruel also, I thought was really good value for. Was added. It was like 8, 9 points, something like that. I think it was 8 points. I thought it was a really, really good value at that. So I know I got a couple duplicate typings, but I don't think it's a huge deal at this point. Like for example, Tentacruel and Tentacruel and Swampert don't share any weaknesses, and Sceptile like can't really ever take a hit anyway. Like it besides electric type attacks, like it doesn't really take hits unless it like really resists it from like a weaker mon. It's not really a switch in. So like I don't think KB and Sceptile sharing weaknesses are a huge deal at all. So yeah, that's just my thought process there. Anyways, this actually ended up being like a lot longer than I wanted it to be, I guess, but it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching the video. Like it if you like it, and subscribe for more. Catch you guys next time. Peace.